All right, so in this video, I'm going to be covering how we book with your dream clients using cold email. All the logos you see on the screen right now, plus more. I have a screenshot proof of booking with these companies via cold email. Hogan Lovells, the 14th largest law firm in the world, Kaiser Permanente, the third largest healthcare system in the world, and then Priority Roofing, which is a top 10 contractor in the US, and then SAP and Mountain as well, plus a lot more that I didn't even include inside of this document, but I'm going to be breaking down step by step how you can book with your dream clients exclusively from cold email. No cold calling, no having to spend thousands on ads, testing different angles, just cold email, extremely straightforward. And I'm going to be giving you guys the exact copy that I use to do this so that you can quite literally just follow along and copy and paste it into your sequencer, whether you're using like Instantly or Smart Lead or even just sending these out manually, which I wouldn't recommend, but let's go ahead and get right into it. So by the end of this video, you will have the exact word-for-word emails that you can steal and use today. You'll have the exact strategy that I use to do this, not theory or me hypothesizing about how to do this. This is stuff I've already done before, and I have the screenshots and proof to back it. Also, you'll learn what most cold emailers, agencies, and founders miss that causes enterprise buyers or their ideal client profile to ignore them. So why you should listen to me and actually watch this entire video. So proof attached below. My case studies are backed by Instantly, which is one of the top 3 or top 5 cold email softwares out there. I'm a cold email certified expert through them, and I started where you were at. No funding, no PMF, struggling to fill my calendar. Cold email was something that I just started because I needed to get more calls. So here is the screenshot proof. You can see Hogan Lovells. Hi, Will. Thank you for the brochure. We can have a brief chat next Monday between 4 and 5 p.m. Brussels time. Let me know if that suits you, or send me a few alternatives. Kaiser Permanente, thank you. Looking forward to the conversation. SAP, I'm open to learning more. How about 8:30 a.m. CST? Mountain, January 12th is great. Priority Roofing, let's do tomorrow at 3 p.m. So who am I and what do? I help growth stage organizations open conversations with serious buyers using cold email. This work has led to meetings with some of the largest and most selective organizations in the world, including top US healthcare systems, billion-dollar law firms, and global SaaS ecosystems. Like I said, I'm an Instantly certified expert and operate enterprise-grade outbound infrastructure designed specifically to generate qualified sales calls week after week. This is exactly how we found product market fit for a legal SaaS in under 1 hour. We generated over 150,000 in corporate booking pipeline for a ranch retreat, and we found product market fit and booked 36 meetings in less than 18 days for a bootstrap SaaS. This right here is backed by an Instantly case study. I have videos on my channels over all of this. This is actually a live consulting call if you want to go watch that after you view this video. So let's get into it. The core principle: enterprise buyers and your dream clients do not buy because of a marketing trick or some clever copywriting that you have. They respond to leverage, and the engine that creates and backs that leverage is what we have built through cold email, and I'm going to be breaking that down and giving that to you guys. So just understand, as a prerequisite, there is no fancy copywriting trick or, oh, if we change this one word, it's going to get them to book a meeting with us or give us a chance. It's not that simple, but it's also not something that you can just hack like that, right? Copywriting is no longer a really unique angle to shoot anymore. I'm originally a copywriter. I started when I was 17, 18 years old. I bought a $200 PDF course from Jason Capital, and I think it was Agora Insurance. And I started that way, learning how to write landing pages for people, write cold emails, all that stuff. But now with the rise of AI and GPT, you still need somebody who is strategic and can direct the ship. But GPT can write some copy. You can plug in different tools, Claude, Clay, to generate copy, as long as you know what you're doing in terms of driving that machine and the strategy behind how to create a good offer for front-end cold traffic. If you just ask GPT to hey, create me a cold email, it's going to write you an essay. It's going to be very, very long. And the copy that I show you guys in this video will be something that you can start implementing today. So why most cold emails fail at the enterprise level? Most outbound efforts fail because they rely on tactics that do not translate to enterprise buying behavior. So common failure points include high volume generic outreach and a weak offer, overused copywriting templates, surface level personalization, and just too much fluff. Maybe using clay to add in the fact that, hey, we saw you were at this event the other week and blah, blah, blah. It just doesn't add enough credibility. It comes off soft. It's like if you get on a sales call with somebody and instead of just the normal like niceties of, oh, where are you calling in from? Maybe talking about the weather some, but basically just not avoiding getting down to business and talking about, these things that don't even matter to pushing the deal forward. It's kind of the same thing with cold email if you're talking just too fluffy and too personalized to them. So enterprise buyers do not reward cleverness. They reward risk reduction, credibility, and relevance to real business pressure that they're facing. So enterprise cold email operates by different laws than just generic, probably like smaller like SMB to SMB cold email. Cold email works at the enterprise level only when it is structured around offer strength, data, and context. Offer is always going to be king. It's the strongest lever that you can pull if you have the right targeting. But front-end cold traffic requires a strong, defensible offer supported by real-world signals. And without this, even perfect delivery and copy will fail. So you could be inboxing, you could have really nice, copy, and it's all grammatically correct, and it's probably a pretty good angle fit that you're taking, and maybe you're offering a good deliverable. But if the offer is not formulated in the right structure, it won't work. So the 3 pillars of enterprise cold email. 1, status matching. So the sender must feel peer level and not vendor level, or like just a sales rep or like an SDR trying to reach out to a high level executive. That will very easily become ignored, especially if even if you title the email differently, if you're coming off, like you're putting this person on a pedestal and like reaching up to them, it just won't work. Enterprise buyers make a snap judgment before they consciously evaluate the message. That judgment is driven by status alignment and attraction, not just persuasion tactics or fancy copy. Persona matters more than the sending domain name, but how the message is written still matters. So status matching is the combination of who appears to be reaching out and how that outreach presents itself. The reader must feel they are engaging with an equal and not just being sold to, or like an SDR kind of checking that box of like, oh, I have to send this email, or, we had to get these cold emails out, so we threw something together generic. If the sender lacks credibility or cannot establish a clear status delta or attraction, the offer is never meaningfully evaluated. So to engineer this at scale, we leverage female-based sending personas that consistently generate higher open rates and stronger message resonance with senior decision makers. So because we operate on in-house private IP infrastructure, we're able to deploy these personas safely at scale without including the HTML embedded photos like at the bottom of the email and the signature. We're actually able to put those in the little Gmail bubble that pops up like on your phone when you get one. Persona consistent signatures, and then infrastructure isolation to protect deliverability. I know that was a lot, but at scale, the 2 things that matter here are either you're doing like founder to founder or executive to executive outreach, or you're leading with some female or just even ICP reflective outreach to help generate resonance and attraction and open rates. It's just how it is. Don't get mad at me. This allows messages to land as human, credible, and intentional rather than automated or just mass distributed. So status matching is not about any type of deception. It's about meeting the buyer at their level so the offer can be considered. Offer dominance and front-end leverage. So enterprise buyers do not respond to just features or services or this is what we can do as a vendor, this is what we can provide for you. They respond to leverage and a strong front-end offer. So reducing any perceived risk, creating a asymmetric upside, ideally some type of risk reversal or guarantee, and it justifies internal attention and time. They may not respond to that email directly, but they'll likely forward it if it's not the right email for them, and they'll forward it to whoever it is. So you're not selling a service, you're not being a vendor, you don't even want to talk about your company of like, oh, our company does XYZ. You have to present a clear offer to them with data that is relevant. So you are introducing leverage that the buyer already cares about. They probably already have a pulse on this, and that leverage, like I said, must be backed by data. So the internal narrative fit. Every enterprise email must support how the reader justifies the meeting internally. The message must align with real existing business pressure, be easy to explain to partners or leadership or anybody that might need to be looped into that email or looped into that meeting, or anyone like above them that could be asking like, oh, like why are you taking this meeting, or like why does this even matter? And feel safe to forward internally if that makes sense. So external data and industry signals make the conversation defensible instead of optional. You want to have the mindset that you're coming into this as a consultant rather than just a sales guy trying to pitch like, oh, we can do this for you. So where to start with this? External trigger events and industry data. This is an example taken from the legal sector, like if you were emailing into law firms. This is how I was able to book with some of the largest law firms out there and then also sell into them on behalf of my clients. So we anchor outreach in macro level industry reality, not opinion. So this is macro industry level data. You can go to a really good website called ibisworld.com. It's free to get some of the reports to start, but this will just give you some good macro industry data that you can start with. In the legal sector, this is just example data that I've pulled, 52.4% of LEP clients experience communication failures with legal providers. 66.7% report barriers accessing legal services, and U.S. law firm revenue reached $403.9 billion in 2024, growing at just 1.4% annually. So this signals growth in specific sectors or regions, for this example, legal, increased competition for the same clients, and then client experience gaps as meaningful leverage points. So for this example, this was a difficult one to crack because we were selling language services, so translation and interpretation, but we're selling this on the front end to cold traffic through outbound, which is notoriously hard to do because when people need language services, they come to you. It's typically a vendor solution where they're going to go and look at 3 vendors, and then they stick with that vendor for a period of time until they reevaluate. So it really is a combination of timing on this one as well, but we made some tweaks here so that we could make this work for a demand generation offer. So internal trigger events, or also like persona-based triggers, these are firm-specific signals that indicate a shift in responsibility, visibility, or operational pressure. So examples would include newly hired job titles, any mergers and acquisitions, promotions into new roles, lateral moves to new firms, expansion into international or cross-border law, new office openings, or geographic expansion. And so each trigger is going to represent a real change in the priority of that persona and even that organization at scale. So how to isolate the right personas and build precision lead lists. So persona-based targeting is some of the strongest targeting that you can use, especially as we move into 2026 with the rise of AI. A lot of people are going to, at least how I see it, start mass emailing as much as they can and quickly as they can through AI without actually taking the time to target based off of different personas. And so their copy is going to hit a little bit weaker even if they used AI to leverage it. So enterprise results do not come from generic lead lists or just batching a whole lot of stuff together. They come from identifying who is experiencing change and why that change matters now. And then you build those lead lists around trigger events and then align your messaging and your data to those moments. So your lead list building methodology. Do not just build one generic list. You want to segment the list by persona, internal trigger events if you can, and then also geographic location is a good one if you're having some trouble establishing initial traction. And each segment receive messaging tailored to the specific context that triggers that inclusion. So an example of segmentation would be obviously, list the industry or the company that you're emailing into. but they're a CFO, they're newly hired, they're in the US, they're a partner, they recently got promoted, and they're in the DMV. They are a communications director, they just had a lateral move to a new firm, and they're in Texas. These are further lead list segmentation examples. These are actually ones that I used personally. I'm not going to read through all of them because I'll be reading here forever, but I'll just scroll down slowly, and you'll be able to pause the video if you want to save it, or you can take a screenshot of this so you can see we were basing this off of new hires mainly, and also tailoring the emails to be focused around, okay, this is not a decision maker, but we can either get them on the call or they'll forward the email to the decision maker. Personnel-based trigger segments. So also, as I mentioned a little bit earlier too, we build lists around executive movement. So C-suite promotions, newly hired executives, lateral executive moves, open executive roles, and then executives transitioning across firms if that's a reality. So these moments often indicate and signal strategic change and not just like a simple staffing update. The company is shifting the angle for either a new quarter or like a new year. So firm level internal trigger events. We segment firms using verified activity signals such as the mergers and acquisitions, recent funding events, IPO activity, anything like that. These signals indicate budget movement, operational change, or growth pressure. And the infrastructure advantage, the advantage, like I said earlier, is not copy, it's control. So a little bit on what we do is we operate enterprise-grade outbound infrastructure that includes private IP sending, persona-based sending accounts, domain isolation for each campaign, and then 24/7 AI reply routing and speed-to-lead systems. Now, really all that I want you to focus on if you're just getting started with cold email or you're trying to get more traction with this is focus as much as you can on your list segmentation and writing copy that is relevant for each of those ICPs and each of those campaigns. A good litmus test for this is you should be able to take your, let's say you have like 4 different campaigns running to different ICPs. You shouldn't be able to take like, campaigns 1, like that copy. You shouldn't be able to like easily translate and move that over to campaign number 3. There's going to be some similarities there because you're talking about the same offer, but how you're addressing and how you're opening should be different. So our system enables enterprise safe deliverability, stealth campaigns, zero brand risk, and scaling without collapse. So here's the moment that you guys have all been waiting for, the copy that I've actually used to book with enterprise before. There's also some other variants that I will talk about, but let's go ahead and get into it. So our targeting for this, you can see very specific. DMV-based IP. IP stands for intellectual property. Law firms with growth signals. So they're growing, they're expanding offices, maybe they are hiring, and then also like their reporting is reporting that the firm is growing fast. So subject, first name, communication gaps costing IP firms revenue in the DMV, ? So it almost reads like a news article. First name, recent industry data shows that 52.4% of limited English proficient clients experience communication breakdowns with legal providers, and 66.7% report barriers accessing legal services altogether. So this is leaning into like client acquisition. How are they going to continue to grow compared to their competition? At the same time, law firm revenue has grown just 1.4% annually, reaching $403.9 billion in 2024. This means firms are competing harder for the same clients rather than benefiting from broad market expansion. So now they're thinking about, okay, how are we going, like if the market is expanding, it's not expanding extremely rapidly, but the market is expanding, we want to make sure we capture this revenue. We are seeing IP firms in growth mode use these pressure points to differentiate, improve client conversion, and protect long-term revenue by tightening communication workflows and front-end client experience. So now we're also leaning into the retention and keeping clients longer. How are you currently ensuring communication gaps are not limiting growth or client retention at your firm as you expand in the DMV? So you can see I said nothing about solution except kind of in this last line. I never said we're from this company. This is what we do. This is our track record. This reads like a news article. Like you're here to help. You're here as a consultant. And so the common pattern across every win, and this is across healthcare, legal, enterprise SaaS, correct persona selection and then segmentation, a strong front end offer. One of the best ways, if you're not taking this approach right here, is to approach it with, we did X for another company that's in their industry or a competitor or a company that they know, and list out, what you did in the time frame and say, hey, we can do the same for you. And you can either show them how to do it for free, or you can add a risk reversal on there and a guarantee as well. So back to the document, external data leverage, also the internal narrative fit, like this email shows, and then infrastructure, of course, that holds at scale. Going into 2026, this is going to be the most important factor, I believe, is the infrastructure that holds at scale, because everyone, I'll explain in a little bit, everyone's like has the same infrastructure and the same data. So different industries, but they require the same physics. So why is this hard to replicate, and why are you struggling with cold email either in general, or you're trying to expand your cold email system, expand your outbound system, and get more meetings and get higher level meetings as well? Like not just these people that want to meet with you just to chat, but people that actually want to talk about your solution. So most agencies cannot replicate these results because they rely on default tools and shared infrastructure. They sell volume instead of leverage, so just coming in like, hey, I'll do 20,000 emails for you. They have not sold into enterprise or regulated environments before. I have the experience of selling into the DOJ, helping people contract with the Office of the President, and a lot more. In addition, most agencies are operating with overshared copy templates buyers have already seen, outdated data, and stale assumptions. So just going with generic angles and generic copy, like, oh, they're hiring, let's tell them congratulations. That's too shallow and played out. Old techniques that no longer work at scale, shared IP and recycled sending infrastructure, a reliance on luck instead of just deliberate strategic planning. And then enterprise buyers, they recognize this immediately. They can recognize when it's just a generic email. A lot of the times their spam filters or firewall is just going to catch it. And the credibility with enterprise cannot be faked. So this is not a mass, cold email. This is not a tactic. This is enterprise grade deal creation. You can run this at scale, but obviously with enterprise, the sales cycle are going to be longer. You're likely going to have less volume of meetings on the calendar, but when you do get those meetings, they're larger companies, of course, they can pay more and would need to pay more for your solution. So if you sell into serious organizations, or if you're even just looking to expand your deal generation and the meetings that you're booking on your calendar, this is the new standard. So if this was useful and you want to see how it applies to your situation, you can book a call below. I'll break down your current outbound architecture, take a look at things, ask you some questions about your company and where you're looking to go. And if we believe that there's a clear path to leverage, we'll make you an offer to work with you. So I appreciate you watching all the way to the end. If you liked this video and it was helpful, like I mentioned, go ahead, subscribe, leave a comment. I reply to all the comments myself. It's not a team or assistant that's doing that. I read all of them. So if you have further questions or you have ideas for additional videos, leave that down below. And I really want to see that percentage of people that aren't subscribed but watching my videos go down. So that is it. I will see you guys in the next video.